Hi, Sean here from Cinetalk. I want to do a review of Predators. So, when I first saw the trailer for the upcoming Predators film, or film that's out at the moment, I thought to myself that this really was a film that I could get behind. What I got from the trailer was that the hunt was back on. It's badasses in a jungle being hunted by predators for, you know, their game, or what they do, the predators. To start off with, I was excited about the new film because Rodriguez is involved, even though he didn't write this film, didn't direct this film. The script is loosely based off a script that he wrote a long time ago, and if you're a Rodriguez fan, you know the history behind Rodriguez and wanting to do a Predator film and wanting to do a Predator film right. So I was excited about that part. So Rodriguez was producing this Predator film, and I think when you say Rodriguez is producing, I think it's kind of the same way that Lucas produced Empire and Jedi, in that it was heavy hands-on recommendations for the film. Although I'd recently seen I've seen Control from Nimrod Antal, and I recently saw Armored, and although those films weren't particularly good, he displayed that he had technical ability, he had some style, he had vision, things like that. The idea that I really liked behind Predators was that I like the way they pluralized it, like aliens, predators. I don't know how they didn't do that before. And it was going to give us more than one predator. And that's what I was more excited about. I wanted to see more than one predator. In the AVP films, you don't really see more than one predator. I like the idea of the different species of predators, something that's touched on very heavily in the comic books, which I know Rodriguez was a fan of, like the Alien vs Predator comics and things like that. So more than one predator, and from the trailer you knew that because there's a scene in the trailer where Adrian Brody gets lit up by the target and things. Although, quick spoiler alert, that scene's not in the film, or let's just say that scene in the trailer is overemphasized. I don't want to spoil the film for you. Basically the story is a bunch of badasses, you know, ex-military, black ops, men on murderers and stuff, all dropped on this planet with predators hunting them. Like the first Predator, pretty simple story. No need to dig around on why they're there, how they got there, blah blah blah. There's, the first 10 minutes of the film is dedicated to them trying to find out how they got there, why they're there, and really the first act of the film is really nicely paced. Moves quickly. We're straight on to someone dying, then figure out there's something in the forests, things like that. All the characters sort of echo characters we know from the film, from the first film. Although, another spoiler alert, this is not a remake. It's, I suppose you could call it a reboot of the franchise, but it doesn't go back to the beginning, because they do speak about the first film in this film. They do reference it, as in one of the characters knows about the predators because in '87 Guatemala there was a similar creature described in a debriefing from a guy who managed to escape the predators by covering himself in mud because they use heat for heat vision. So what did I think about the film? I thought the film was... The first act was really well paced. It's really quick, getting into the action. The second act suffered mainly because of Lawrence Fishburne, who plays this crazy guy who's been on the planet too long. He does push the story forward in that his character is kind of needed for us to understand that it's kind of like hunting seasons that go on, and he's been there for 7 hunting seasons, and he sort of semi helps them understand that there are 2 races of predators, but his part just slows down the film. The film almost comes to a stop, a standstill, a halt, because of his character. I don't see any reason why his character couldn't have been just paced a little bit better, like his story and stuff like that couldn't have been done some other way. You can't really chop that out because it does help to understand a lot more about the film and does help to move the film forward. It was just disappointing that the film really slows down at that point. The third act of the film really does ramp back up to speed, but I think it's because the second act is so slow once it gets to Lawrence Fishburne. After the Lawrence Fishburne, him telling all the story stuff, and everyone just then starts getting offed, the film does get back up to speed. And although there are some good parts in third act, like the kills and stuff are okay, they're not really what I wanted. The Predator, if it's not about it, you know, the hunting and the badasses with guns, it should be about the kills. The kills should be like quality, and there's probably one really good kill in this film. There are a couple of really good scenes where you can really tell that Antel is quite a visionary director, maybe very young. There's some stuff that I thought could have just been done better. There's a fight scene between two predators that could have been so much more. And there's a fight scene between a Yakuza and a predator, which is kind of it. He does this like aerial shot over the top of them, which is really cool, but doesn't really last long enough, and there's not much great, I don't know, choreography. Maybe could have been done better, a bit better, but it was a really nicely shot scene, the aerial stuff overhead. The final scene I won't spoil for you, I won't talk about. It's really reminiscent of the first Predator film, of course, and the ending is quite reminiscent of there would have been a few changes I would have liked to see to the ending, but it's quite reminiscent of the first Predator. The music in Predators, done by John Debney, it just sounds like Alan Silvestri's score from the first film. It even has the Predator theme running through it, and if you know Predator well, or the score well, or Alan Silvestri well, you listen to it and you're just like, this sounds like Alan Silvestri did the score. But John Debney, maybe in the past few months, has really got my attention in terms of film music, because he's done so many really good, really varied scores. You can't really listen to it and say that sounds like a John Debney score. Hans Zimmer, you can listen to it and sort of say that sounds like Hans Zimmer, and Silvestri, you can definitely listen to it and you know that's him because he's got the fucking horns and everything playing. Adrian Brody as a leading man, he sort of grunts his way through this movie, but he plays the badass of badasses sort of thing, and he does it pretty well. There's one thing about all the characters in this film, very John Carpenter like, where it's kind of like the anti-hero, because they're all essentially, you know, black ops and yakuzas and mobsters and things like that, and there's only like one character was the Topher Grace character. I was kind of didn't understand why Topher Grace was in this film, but when you see his character, it's alright, and I think Topher Grace can act. I think he's pretty good. I don't understand, there's this part right at the beginning of the film where he seems to know everything about the plants on the planet, and I kind of thought that was leading to like some twist where he was involved with like Weyland-Yutani or something, but it didn't. It just turns out he just knows a lot about extraterrestrial plants, or maybe there's a plant on Earth like it, but none of that gets explained. He like talks about this random plant that has some poison that can paralyze you, and that's it. Everyone just accepts that he knows everything about extraterrestrial plants, which I didn't understand. Maybe there was like something more in the script about that, about how he knows that stuff, but it was never explained in the film, which is kind of throwaway. So overall, Predators was a really enjoyable film. I was really surprised about how much I liked this film. I would definitely put it, obviously it's after Predator, but it's before Predator 2, and it's definitely before the other AVP films. So if you do get a chance to go and see Predators, because the only other thing out this week is Inception, go and check out Predators. I think if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll really enjoy this film. So guys, if you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can find my Twitter address. I'll put it down here somewhere, and check out the website cinetalk.tv. This weekend I'm heading to the London Film Comic Con at Oscorp 2, so I'll be putting up loads of videos.